Hi, and welcome to That's So Nova. If it's your first time here, welcome. If this is a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Today we're going to be doing the Zippy Bag from Sally Tomato. I absolutely love this bag. I think this is kind of the it bag for summer. It has 4 different compartments. It comes together smoothly and it looks very lush and lovely, and you can make a lot of it. This is like super fat quarter friendly too. So let me show you the bag. I made this lovely bag, and there goes my phone. I made this lovely bag using Sally Tomato's cork, which is gorgeous. I went for a nice big bold print. I love anything with moons and stars, and blue is my favorite color. So to pair it with it, I put some rose gold zipper pulls with rose gold tape. And as you can see, when you open it up, you have one big roomy compartment, you have a back pocket, and you have 2 zipper pockets in the front. This bag is super duper machine friendly, domestic machine, and you could do it on your industrial or your semi-industrial. It comes together quickly, and for this one, I had used the Sally Tomatoes Level 3 basic hardware. I promise you, I had to find like hardware for the bag I'm making today, and I wish I would have bought another level 3. I like how they have it where it's not descriptive to just one. So if you look at their patterns, they'll tell you what pack they would recommend for their patterns. Like if you pick the Zippy bag, they'll be like, oh, level 3 hardware will get this complete. I think this is quite genius, just to mix match, pick out patterns based off of hardware kits that are in there or hardware kits you already have at home. Just something to think about. But you are able to find everything in your within your stash, then go for it. You would need 2 1/2-inch D-rings, 2 1/2-inch swivel clasps, and a 1/2-inch tri-glider, and 4 zipper pulls. Now, with that being said, today I am having the 4 zipper pulls, and I am doing a 1/2-inch D-rings on the side, but I did not have any 1/2-inch in gunmetal, so I'm doing 3/4 of an inch, and I'll give you the measurements difference for that. In another bag I made, I used a 1-inch. I thought the 1-inch, it looks a little bit too bulky, but it's cute. It gives it like a doll kind of feel. The 1/2-inch is absolutely perfect. So I'm excited to see what the 3/4 of an inch does. So let's get started. You first will need to get the pattern. The pattern I'm going to list in the description box. And if you use code That's So Nova, no space, all caps, you will get 10% off your order. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab I'm making the large, so I'm going to get the large size zipper. There is a, that's how it always works. There is a zipper difference between the small and the large bag. So if you look at figure 1, it'll give you the measurements for the small, and right underneath it is for the large. Since I'm making the large, I will be using that. I am grabbing a zipper pull and 2 pieces that are going to be the zipper end. I decided not to use cotton or canvas for my zipper ends. I'm using cork, and because cork does not have any raw edges, I reduced the size to 1/4 of an inch, 1 1/4 of an inch long by 1 inch tall. So that way it will wrap around this very beautifully, and you don't need to worry about any edges coming apart because, you know, cork. So as far as your zipper pulls, there's no wrong or right way to do zippers. You just need to figure out if you want your zipper to close to the left or if you want to close it to the right. So for most people that are right-handed like to have their zippers close to the left. Most people that are left-handed like to have it close to the right. And ambidextrous doesn't really matter. Your brain works a little bit different. Ask me how I know. You can also put the zippers in different directions. I would think that would be really smart for someone that is like taking the rails in DC or going on trolleys or using the public like light rails and stuff like that. So that way it would be harder for someone to try to go inside your pockets. That's just a food for thought. I'm going to take my zipper pull, and I'm going to just partially open up the zipper just a little bit, and I'm going to thread my zipper on my zipper pull on. So what I usually do is I pop in one side and then put in the other. I look inside and there is a middle bar. Once I feel like it is even, because trust me, a lot of times it's not, then I will just slightly push down until it kind of clicks. But as you can see right here, it's not even. This area is a little bit wibbly wobbly and it's pulling down the wrong side. So I'm just going to try it again. At first you don't succeed, we try again, right? And there we go. That is way better. So now I'm going to take off, I put double-sided tape that is by Annie on my pieces so I can line them up as even as I can. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm doing the zippers as the same size as the width of the fabric on all my pieces. One, because if it's recommended to go a little bit larger. The recommended size is very awesome because you can keep all your zipper pulls to one side. I like to have them the same size so that way that excess that we had, if you have 3 zippers and there are 12 inches and the zipper tape's supposed to be 9, you wind up having another zipper you could have made out of it. So there's that. And 2, when I like to sew without any zippers on, so there's no clinging and clocking going around, as well as but when I do finally put in the zippers, this side will be closed and I don't have to worry about any gaps. It's all about personal preferences. Slow down, Shenova. I'm going to top stitch these zipper tabs on using 1/8 of an inch. The green tape that you see right here, my machine doesn't have a marking for 3/8 of an inch, so I took some painter's tape from our little workbench area where we're like repainting. You know, you have sometimes extra zipper, extra paper tape from painting, and I just use it now for it, and I could peel it off and there will leave no residue. You could do the same thing with washi tape, but I just measure it, put the tape, and then I have my guide. So now we have this, and I'm going to do one more thing before we set this aside. I'm going to clip it at the ends, and I'm going to grab a marking tool, and I got this pink Choco pen, and I'm going to find the centers, because when we put the bag together, centers for me are really important. Every time I do like any kind of eyeball, I'm always jealous of people that can eyeball things right. I'm literally jealous of you, that person. It's like a skill set I do not have, so I have to find my centers at all times. So the next thing we're going to do, we're going to grab lining piece number A, letter A, and I put in a non-pen that doesn't disappear, the letter on each back of each piece, so that way I can find everything without having to search the whole the whole area. I would promise you, if I don't put tabs or some kind of markings on it, I will lose it. So I have my zipper tape here. I'm going to put it wrong sides down on right sides of the lining. I'm going to line this up where raw edges are touching, and then I'm going to go over here and just stitch it out. 1/8 of an inch raw sizes, like all the raw edges lining up, and you can use pens, clips, whatever helps you to get this on. I am using, my machine today is a Juki 5550. It's an equivalent to like a Juki QVP Mini or a semi-industrial. I love this machine. I can sew garments, quilt, and make some really awesome bags. And it goes fast. That's the main difference to me, is it goes fast. So we're going to now take, well, this was like this. We're going to like push it up, bring this side, the other short end, to match. And we're going to match the wrong side of the zipper tape to the right side of the other side of the lining. Raw edges touching raw edges to line everything up. All right, we have zipper pocket A already done. So from here, I'm going to, everything should look kind of like figure 5. I'm going to move these rivets. We're going to grab We're going to fold up the seams. We're going to grab front top on here. We're going to take the front top, that's the middle, that's why I write, because I promise you, you'll be like, Shenova, what did you do? So front top, we're going to put the lining facing the outside of the bag, and we're going to take the front top and lay it on the zipper, right sides touching right sides. And you could put a couple clips to help keep it in line. And we're going to top stitch this at 3/8 of an inch. That's why I marked it with my paper tape so you can see. Back stitch at the beginning and an end. All right. So I'm going to finger press this, or you could take it to your iron. It's really your discretion. And I'm going to top stitch this down at 1/8 of an inch. You now can have the lining going towards the opposite side. This is going towards the outside. This is going towards the inside of the bag, where you still have one part of the zipper that is still not attached. It's only attached to the lining and nothing for the exterior. So I'm going to top stitch it at 1/8 of an inch. Take your time. Okay, then we're going to grab the middle piece, and I'm going to take, it's like this, there's the top, there's the lining, pocket A. I'm going to take it and flip it to the outside of the bag. I'm going to take the middle piece and align it with the right side of the zipper tape, touching the right side of fabric. Well, I'm using cork. So it should look like this. We have middle piece here, zipper tape, and you have the top and the lining A shooting outwards, shooting to the left. Back stitch really well. We're going to be sewing that 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right. So then we're going to just finger press this down. You could take it to your iron. Cork handles heat really well. And we're going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch on the opposite sides. On the opposite side of where, well, this is top A and this is the middle. We're going to do it on the top middle. I'm using 40 weight polyester thread, Saba. It's pretty strong. I like the way it works. So top A, zipper, middle, and then we just have this lining. So we're going to now grab, pocket B. Now, I pre-made pocket B just like you did the lining pocket A. So you have a kind of a tube where you have all the right sides of the lining inside and all the wrong sides on the outside, but you see the right sides of the zipper tape. We're going to take that and we're going to place, this is why I don't put zippers in case I want to orientate things a different way, move around things different. We're going to put them on the middle pocket. We're going to put it on the edge that has nothing connected to it, and just put a couple of clips. So right sides of the zipper tape touching the right sides of the cork, or your exterior middle panels, right sides. We're going to sew this at 3/8 of an inch, back stitch at the beginning and an end. All right. And then we're going to just flip that pocket. So if you're looking at it this way, we have top A, middle, and we still have the zipper teeth for pocket B. We're going to take all the pockets and flip them to the left side, the outside of the bag, and we're going to grab front bottom. I'm using this really fun print for Powerpuff Girls because my daughter loves it, and we're going to make this cute summer bag for her. And I'm going to line up the right sides of my exterior bottom to the zipper tape. So right sides touching. And we're going to sew this out at 3/8 of an inch. Seam allowance is very important on here, or your two pieces will not line up, and they need to line up at the end. All right, so pockets are still going towards the outside of the pocket, towards the left, and we're going to finger press this and making sure the seams go towards the right, the inside of the bag, while your pocket A and pocket B are still here, and we're going to top stitch this pocket down using 1/8 of an inch. Fun this is. So we have all the pockets right here, and we're going to be stitching down some pockets. Oh, I completely forgot. So right here on the top one, I forgot to say we need to top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch, the middle one. So we're going to take pocket A and put it here, and pocket B towards the right. I'm so sorry, but that seam needs to be stitched down too. So that way everything just lines up and it's not as bulky. So that is the middle pocket. I mean, sorry, the middle top exterior panel. And as long as you have pocket A going towards the left and pocket B going towards the right, you will not stitch over anything. But see how much of a difference it's not like bulging anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab 2 of my zipper pulls and I'm going to put them on. I'm going to open up the zipper tape just a little bit. And I know this could be a little scary and a little daunting, but take your time. There's no rush, and practice makes progression, and you totally have this. Okay. And I'm going to put that in the middle. I'm going to do the same thing for the middle one. And apparently I still didn't trim threads. I'm going to place another zipper pull. And I'm putting my zippers in on the right hand side so they close to the left. But you can definitely do it the other way, or you can mix it up and just have some fun with zippers going in different directions. Why not have some fun? It's a very fun bag. All right, so I'm going to stitch down the sides of this pocket at 1/8 of an inch, going over the zipper tape a little bit just to make sure everything fits. Okay, and trimming threads, and I'm going to trim any excess overage off, as well as any extra little threads in burrs. I get a lot of those unwanted threads, and I'm going to go 1/8 of an inch on the other side. Okay. All right, so we have one down and we need to do the back. So on the back, you're going to grab pocket C. We have that, and we're going to grab the back top. We're going to do the same thing we did last time. We're going to take our pocket C and have it going towards our left, and put the exterior right sides together with the zipper tape that doesn't have the pocket poking out of it. Do a couple clips, and we're going to go using a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, back stitching. I usually back stitch 1 to 3 stitches because, you know, you just really want that seam to get locked in. Usually when I do this too, after I top stitch, I like to hit it with the iron because a nice press can help lock in the stitches. We're going to take the top A, and press it with our fingers. You could take it to the iron, and we're going to top stitch it 1/8 of an inch. Okay. Oh, it's so pretty. I love natural cork. It looks just so graceful. All right, so we're going to grab back bottom, and we're going to take our pocket C, and flip it towards the outside again, towards the left. And we're going to place our back bottom on there. And you're going to take a couple of clips and have right sides of back pocket touching the right sides of the zipper, and sew at 3/8 of an inch. All right. There's a mosquito in here, or a fly. We're going to take our back pocket, and we're going to just press it down. And just make sure everything lines up right. And let's see, I'm going to go over this one more time at 3/8 of an inch. Great thing about cotton. Because it looked like it veered a little bit to 1/4 of an inch. And I just want to make sure when I press that down that the zipper tape is even and not looking wonky. And I got it better on the second time. So I have the pocket going from going towards the left, and I have my exterior laying flat, and I'm going to top stitch it at 1/8 of an inch. All right. Very good. So now I'm going to grab another zipper pull, and I'm going to do the same thing as I did with this last one. I'm going to open it up a little bit on the right hand side. I open it up about an inch about an inch, inch and a half. And I'm going to thread one side of the zipper pull in and do the other. Check inside the middle to see that the zipper teeth are flush and even towards the bar, and then just click it on. And if it's wrong, just take it off again. That's the beautiful thing about zippers. No matter how much you can get them wrong, you just pull it right back off and try again. And I know it can be frustrating. Trust me, I have had some zippers where I had to walk away, but that's all part of this process, and it's what helps us get better. All right, so we have that. What I'm going to do first is make sure that our pattern pieces are the same height. So I'm just going to take some clips and just make sure, because if one side is bigger than the other, I need to take it to my machine or to my cutting table and just get it, and it's flush. Okay. So the next thing you would do is you would take it to your cutting counter and kind of make yourself a round corner. There's a couple things you could do here. I took my nice little clip cup and I drew on each corner, and I just went around. For the blue one, I actually used a paper towel tube. I had one because I used the last paper towel. I was like, let me use this. And it worked out fine. But there are rulers from Creative Grid that can give you different round edges. I do have those. They're amazing. I will put a link to them for the Sally Tomatoes. I believe she has them. She got them from her website too. They're amazing, and they're a great tool to have in your chest, your little treasure trove chest. Now, If you were like, hey, no, I don't want that. Again, you can use a spool of thread. You can use double-sided tape. You can use pretty much anything to help round out the edges. I'm going to go 1/8 of an inch down on the sides of this to close off the pockets and to help with the making the zipper pull lock in. Okay. I'm going to do the other side. Okay. All right. I'm getting those little cottons sometimes like to fray, and so getting those little things ahead of time can help later. So we have our front and our back. There is a really cool hardware you can get for here that are little connectors that are gorgeous. They are on the website. They show you in the diagram what to do if you want that. We are going to be putting on D-rings. So I got 1, 2, and we're going to grab our back piece. First, I'm going to take off this double-sided tape, and it's 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to place it in the center on each side. And then we're going to do some top stitching. Me and double-sided tape are not friends today. It's like, nope, I'm not moving. And we're going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch down both sides. All right, and I'm going to cut off those rogue threads. And then we have just like a really nice top stitch. We're going to find the middle and cut it in half. Now we have 2, and I'm going to thread 1 D-ring through it and put a clip, and thread another D-ring and put a clip. We're going to do some measurements, and of course all my rulers just have to go MIA, but it's okay. I have found another one. I used it at the cutting table. I just purchased these. They had announced them like a week ago for the Sally tomato rulers, and I was like, they're so beautiful. They're so, so beautiful. So I'm going to go do some marks on here. How far you need to go from the top is on page 3, and it's on figure 7, after figure 17. I'm going to take my D-rings and I'm going to baste them on. I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch or 3/8 of an inch hanging out, so that way it gives something nice to anchor on. And don't snip off those edges. Leaving a little bit hanging helps prevent it from buckling out of the seam. Sometimes if you put too much tension and let's say the threads pop or there's nothing else to help it get anchored, it's unfortunate. And it has happened to me like 3 times, and I was upset all 3 times. Okay. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find my centers on my both exterior pieces. So I'm just going to fold it on itself, and I'm going to clip it. Because again, I cannot eyeball things like this to save my life. So I'm going to go right, centers are done. Then I'm going to grab the piece that we made earlier where it's the top band, and I'm going to grab our 2 lining. I thought this Allison glass fabric would be really nice, just like a pop of fun color. So I'm going to grab our first exterior piece, and I'm going to make sure that my zippers, when it's like this, it will close the same direction. Again, I want my zippers to close to the 11, the left. So I'm going to make sure my zipper is going towards that direction, and I'm going to clip where I made that pink chocolate pin. All right. And I am going to baste this on. And when I get to the zipper, I always try to go needle down and move the zipper head, because what happens is where that zipper head is, the zipper tape will start to bow and buckle, and that when you top stitch it, when you're stitching it down, can make a 1/4 seam allowance have a less or more, and it can make it a little bit wonky, and it's not fun. All right, and then I'm gonna grab a lining piece, and my lining pieces are rounded at the edge too, and you want your lining pieces to be the same height as your exterior. If it's longer, you want to cut it to the piece that you currently have in the measurements. Like, so let's say you went a little bit more than 3/8 of an inch or a little less. You just make sure that your exterior piece, your lining pieces are the same length and height as your exteriors. And I'm going to sew at 3/8 of an inch, and I'm going to back stitch really well in the beginning and the end. When I get to the zipper, I'm going to lift my fabric up, making sure I'm on the needle down position, and zip it out of its way. Okay. Okay, I'm trimming off these threads. Apparently not good enough. And then I'm going to, I like to take a clip and just clip them, the bottom, the two layers together, so that way it doesn't shift while I'm top stitching. Now, in the pattern, you could top stitch from one side to another. I find out that my corners look better when I top stitch just the zipper, from zipper tab to zipper tab, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to top stitch at the first zipper tab, starting at 1/8 of an inch, go back 2 stitches, just back stitching, and carefully top stitch at 1/8 of an inch, and give the zipper a small little tug if it keeps trying to sink in on itself. It wants to do that. All right. That looks really good. I'm really excited for this bag. Then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to find those center marks, pop a couple clips in there, and we're going to first sew this on. You can do 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch. It's your discretion. We just want to just get it onto the exterior. And if you're getting to the zipper, just move it out of the way. All right. I like this bag because no fussing around with interfacings. It just makes your life a little bit easier, and it comes together. I'm telling you, you're going to be wearing this bag everywhere. It is a beautiful bag. I'm going to sew this now at 3/8 of an inch, back stitching about 1 or 2 stitches. When I get to that zipper, needle down and go through these layers and move the zipper out of its way and resume sewing. going to now take our exterior. I like to, again, give it a nice, you can give it a press, nice little tug, get the lining to match the exterior. And I am going to top stitch now I'm going to top stitch the exterior back at 1/8 of an inch, and I'm just going to give it a nice tug and take it to the machine. And again, I'm only going to sew from zipper tab to zipper tab. You don't have to do that. You can go all the way across like the pattern says. It just, for me, those corners, I have a hard time poking them out. And I notice just if I do that, it makes all the world of difference. All right. This is coming together so cute. All right. So what I'm going to do now is make sure that the zipper is fully open. And then I'm going to take my clips off. And I'm going to put exterior sides to exterior sides and lining to lining. We should see the wrong sides of the fabric, not the right. So taking the lining, putting it together, and I'm just going to pop a couple of clips in there. We're constructing the bag, and it's really exciting. And then I just want to make sure that my area over here, that the exterior sides are meeting nicely, and then put a clip and just put some clips throughout the whole bag. You can use as many or as few as you want at your discretion. I'm an over clipper, I'm not going to lie to you. And I'm okay with it. I like to make sure that all my D-rings are going towards the inside of the bag and they're not flipped out, so I don't accidentally sew over them. I've done that, and the sound, it was like super scary. I was terrified. All right. Okay. So when we start sewing, making sure that the D-rings are flipped towards the inside of the bag. We're going to start on one side of the lining. We're going to leave like a 4 to 5. I usually leave a bigger gap. I use like about a 5 to 6 inch gap. And we're going to start with the lining. At the lining, we're going to go to a half an inch, so that way the lining can be nice and tight inside. And then when we get to the exterior, we're going to go to 1/4 of an inch. Now, if you accidentally cut this a little bit wonky, you can even go to 3/8 of an inch, but your lining will be a little bit baggy. The rule of thumb is that you want to go, if you're sewing the seam allowance as a 1/4 of an inch, you want to sew like a half an inch for the lining, so it's nice and taut. 3/8 of an inch, you want to go 5/8 of an inch for lining. So that's just some things to think about. Again, no wrong or right answer. Some people are like, hey, I'm going to do 1/4 of an inch all the way around, and I say go for it. Do what makes you happy. All right. So here we go. And I'm going to backstitch really well at the beginning and the end, because this is going to be the area where we birth this bag. And take your time when you're at the curves. Make sure that you're in a needle down position if you have to readjust anything. And then right when you get to the exterior, that's what you don't want to have. You don't want to accidentally sew over any zipper pulls or anything like that. So I'm just going to make sure I move everything out of the way. I could have used painter tape to do it, and I should have. I kept saying, move the painter tape. I'm going to just move this out, and exactly what I said not to do, I did. I'm going to go in here real quick and move it out of the way. And I'm going to move the zipper out of the way as well. All right. So here we go. We're going to go veer it back to 3/8 of an inch. And give me one second. I'm just double checking. All right, got it. And just back stitching over that area. And again, as long as you don't hit the, sometimes when you hit that metal, it can make the most gosh awful sound, and you just heard it. But I was able to stop and not keep putting my pressure foot on it, so my needle did not break, and I was able to put the needle down and readjust. And again, I'm right here to another connector coming up. I'm just making sure. You could definitely put, again, painter's tape over it or washi tape, and it will make a huge difference. And we're veering back to that bigger seam allowance. I'm sorry if it hurt anyone's ears. My daughter's really sensitive to sound, and I understand. I apologize if it did. I promise you it was not intentional. It's like hilarious when you say something like, don't do it, and then it's the exact thing that you did. So it's like, do as I say, not as I do. I'm going to be cutting and trimming the seam allowance. What I like to do is I kind of like to go in like a V for where I opened it and leave that alone. And I'm just going to finger press it, but honestly, it works better this way if you actually take it to the iron, because it will help you with later on. I'm going to grab my pinking shears, and I'm going to pink around this, leaving about a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Do not cut into your stitches. If you do cut into your stitches, it's not the end of the world. You just have to go back around and go over everything more with like a 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch above your prior stitches, so that way everything can be even. Do not cut your D-ring tags. I'm sorry, I can't talk. I'm gonna pink around the rounded areas and make sure that everything is caught up really nice. Okay. Pink around the rounded areas. Like I said, about 1/4 of an inch. You don't want to get too close, because if you if you accidentally snip in it, then you have to re-sew those areas, and that's not super fun. On my areas that are straight, I'm just using my scissors. Trying to toss things in the trash. And just pinking. Just cutting. Reason why I pink the corners is because it helps reduce bulk, and it just helps it spread out a little bit nice and even. It's a nice finish too. All right, so with the zipper bag all cleaned up, I'm trying to make sure that I can reduce bulk wherever I can. I'm going to birth the bag. So I'm going to open up through the lining, and your zipper should be at least a little bit open so you can stick your hand in this. And you're just going to take it from the bottom and give it a nice birth. Let's see. All right, and just poking out all these little seams. This is So cute. All right. And all right. So then I'm going to see how I left these like kind of out when I put my fingers in to match it in. It kind of already wants to seek in because that fabric has already been trained to go in with the rest of it. So that's why I don't trim any area that I'm going to stitch down for the lining. You could put a couple pins in this if you wish, and you can either do an invisible stitch by hand or you can sew it up using 1/8 of an inch and back stitch really well. All right. This is beautiful. Then I'm going to stuff the lining into the inside of the bag. And use a non-blunt item. This is a bone folder for bookbinding. And I just poked out the, look at how stinking cute. This is so cute. Hold on, let me get this little corner that wanted to collapse in. I gotta give it a good press. But this is so cute. Oh my goodness. This is perfect for anyone. I can see this going for craft fairs, craft markets, expos, graduation gifts. Like my son is going to be graduating from 5th grade. It would be really cool to make him a Minecraft one, or this is so cute. Graduating from middle school, high school, and like just gifts all the way around. This is a gorgeous bag. It comes together so beautifully. So now I'm going to put together my strap that goes with it. I'm going to need my 2 swivel hooks as well as a tri-glider, so that way I can put this together. So what I like to do is I like to grab some double-sided tape, and I like to put them down the seam, down each edge. Let me move this so that I don't knock it over. I like to put these down on the edge of each end, and it helps put things in place. And as long as I put a 1/8 inch gap in the middle, I'm not really going to sew over the double-sided tape because it's 1/8 of an inch and it's really thin. Just make sure you center everything right and you leave that space in between. That is super important. Okay, take your time. All right, so on one side, I'm going to start, and I'm going to just start peeling the tape back. And I'm just going to put this a little in the center. You can eyeball this. As much as I've been saying I don't eyeball. I do eyeball when I'm making straps, but you can draw the center. If I have mine's is 3 inches by 54. You can draw the center at 1.5 of an inch. And then, or you could draw 1/8 of an inch away from the center, so that way you can have the perfect mark. Having that 1/8 of an inch gap is crucial to me because, again, you're not sewing over, it makes it look even and you don't get that little bulge, and it just collapses on itself a lot easier. So see how I'm leaving a gap? All right. So we're going to now fold this onto itself. You can add clips every few inches if you wish, or you can go rogue like me and just like, hey, I'm going to start at 1/8 of an inch and go. And because there's that gap, it just kind of collapses on itself evenly, and it just makes life a whole lot easier. If you do stop with the needle down. And see, the double-sided tape is towards the center of the bag, so I'm not sewing on it, so it's not going to gum up my needles. And if let's say you accidentally did get like a wider tape, and it does, just rub it down with some rubbing alcohol, and it should remove all the glue residue from your needle. Just be careful when you're cleaning your needle. You don't want to accidentally poke your finger, and make sure your foot's off the pedal. Ask me how I know on that. Too many times, Shinova, too many times. Okay, and I'm just going to bring the thread on over to the second side. And hopefully I did not run out of thread. Come on, bobbin. Let me check it real quick. Okay, there is enough. We can do the other side. Okay, so not only is this design perfect for a fat quarter, but I think if you wind one bobbin, you'll be able to put the whole bag together and still have bobbin thread left over. You gotta love that. Bobbin chicken sometimes is really not fun, and sometimes it's kind of fun. I like to live dangerously. Since the side with that had the openings already sewn down, you can sew a little bit more free without worry about the other side not closing because it's already done. And my bobbin decided to act a little weird right here. So give me 1 second and I'm going to correct that. Towards the end, that's when it wanted to act up. Towards the end. Why, bobbin? Why? And let's see. It happens. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over an area with like 3 to 4 stitches beforehand and back stitch, and I'm going to lock in those stitches and then continue. So I'm going to go 3 or 4 stitches back, back stitch. All right. All right. Trim those threads, which I have a ton of them. And then we're going to start making some marks. I'm going to trim this. All right. All right. So I like to do rivets. You can sew this on. You can put a tri-glider on and sew it. I am really rough on bags, so I prefer to have rivets. When I do these, when I have them, I like to make my first rivet punch at a 1/2 inch up. So I will make that mark. And then my second one at 1.5 inches up. And I'll do that on both ends, so that way it can be even. 1.5. All right, so I just draw a line. I thought I cut the thread, but apparently not. I draw a line on where I want the holes, and then I grab a hole puncher, and I make sure that the holes are not too big. And I just punch a hole in the center. If my hole puncher wants to cooperate with me. And then I punch a hole at one and 1.5 inches. Now I'm going to bring this down and do the same thing. And the bad thing about chalk on cork, it just like, it's beautiful because it wipes off real effortlessly until you're trying to find a mark and you're like, I'm going to go get a rivet. I'm going to use either a small or medium. I think I'm going to be using a small. And I'm going to grab 2 males and 2 females. I'm using gunmetal because that was the color of the hardware I use. And I'm going to take my tri-glider and I'm going to go up one side of the tri-glider and then feed it through where the middle of the bar is going to be the anchor. So you see, it's just swiveling now. I'm going to match up these holes and thread 1 mel in. Oops. One mel in. I should have probably did 1.5 inches from bear with me. I'm gonna re-punch. Make this. I'm gonna go 1.5 inches from the hole, from the whole top. So it'll be 2 inches from the bottom, 1.5 inches from the previous hole. It was too snug. I try to not do that, but sometimes my math wasn't mathing. Sorry. 1.5. There we go. That is so much better. So much. All right. And yes, I could find that hole way easier. So 1/2 inch, and then I had 1/2 inch up and 1.5 inches from the previous hole. But so that's 2 inches from the raw side. I'm going to take my rivet press. My rivet press I got from Minkus and Margot. They're a mom and pop shop on Etsy, and they have really great YouTube tutorials and great customer service. And let's see. I'm going to take this side is now considered the wrong side, the area that has that's not continuous and just has a short strap, and I'm going to use my hand and make sure that my strap's not twisted and thread 1 swivel clasp through, and I'm going to go up over the swivel clasp and through it. And what I like to do is I like to give it a nice little pull to make sure everything is nice and even and it's not twisted, because that could be a really unfortunate and frustrating thing. So it's better safe than sorry. It's not set in right now, and in case it is, just in case it is twisted, you can fix it. If it's not, then you can unthread it and rethread it again. All right. Oops, and I unthreaded it. So I'm just going to thread it again. And you just want to make sure everything's not twisted. That's the most crucial part, because like a twisted strap can be, it doesn't look appealing and it doesn't feel appealing. I've had a couple of them and they were not great. It was not a great experience. I'm going to grab my male rivet and thread it through the first hole and then the second hole. And you want your rivets to be like flush. You don't want it to protrude too far out, or you don't want it to be sunken in too much, or it will not set properly. And I'm going to put this down, and we just made the cutest little bag, a great summer to go bag. ever. And we're done. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 zipper pockets. And this bag is brilliant. You can put your cell phone, your like hand sanitizers, your candy. I really approve of you putting candy in bags. And just to have everything ready to go. I think this is a perfect gift for all occasions. And I think it will be a great make for expos and conventions, because people are always looking for bags like this, and you can really personalize it with fabrics. You can really have a lot of fun with it, mixing and matching. If you don't want to use a lot of your precious cork, then you're not using a whole lot of it. So I say go for it. I think you will have a lot of fun. So I really appreciate you coming here with me and sewing with me. If there's any other Sally Tomato products that you would like me to sew up, please leave a comment down below. If you have questions in reference to any of the methods I used or any of the sewing, please comment down below. I feel like I'm really responsive, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. And I really appreciate everyone coming here today. I will have the link for the where you can get this gorgeous cork from Sally Tomatoes, as well as you can get where you can get your level 3 basic kit and the pattern. And with all these links, there is a code of That's So Nova. All caps will give you 10% off of any of your purchases from Sally Tomato. I really appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day and happy sewing. Goodbye.